I'm just gonna put it right out there. Jeffree is not playing. What is up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, as you can see by the title, we are going to be testing out the new Jeffree Star Jawbreaker collection. I'm literally so excited for this video. I only just purchased a couple of bits from the collection like 2 days ago on Beauty Bay, and it has just arrived and I can't wait to play with it. I've already seen a couple of different videos from like Tati and Nikki Tutorials, all the OGs of like the beauty community, test out this collection, but I thought I'd still do it. I hope you guys still enjoy it, even though so many people have already done it. So on Beauty Bay, I managed to pick up 3 things. I picked up the Brain Freeze Skin Frost Pro palette. I also got the mini breaker palette, which looks like this. I love the packaging, it's so cute. And lastly, I just got one of the velour liquid lipsticks. I got this in the shade Fully Nude. I went for like the nude one because I feel like that's probably the one that most people would, steer towards. Same with me. There was definitely a lot of crazy colors in the collection, but you guys know me, your girl loves a nude. If you guys are brand new here and have never seen my face before, make sure you guys come and join the dinosaur family by subscribing down below, and don't forget to follow me on my social media at Roxxsaurus. But if you guys want to see me test out these little bad boys, then let's get on into the video. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna give you guys a breakdown of how much these 3 things cost me. I feel like I spent quite a bit of money on these 3 things. Just looking at my invoice now, I paid £78 for this, and that's not including shipping. I think when I paid shipping, it was roughly like £90, which is quite a lot for just 3 items, I'm not gonna lie. So the first thing we have is, of course, the Brain Freeze highlighter palette. I absolutely love the packaging. I think it's so unique and really cool. So this was the most expensive item actually. It was £37, and I think you get 6 different shades inside. I know Jeffree Star Cosmetics are very high quality. They obviously are a little bit more high end, so I don't know. I guess we'll see if £37 is worth these highlighters further on in the video. We then have the mini breaker palette. I didn't actually get the full size one because they didn't sell it on Beauty Bay, but I figured it might be quite nice to test the mini one as well. This was £25, and inside you get 9 different shades. So I feel like, it's definitely, again, quite expensive, but if the formula and the shades, really perform well, I feel like that price is justified. And then lastly, we have one of the velour liquid lipsticks. I've heard amazing things about these. This one was £16, which is kind of like MAC sort of prices, I feel like. So I've already got my base on, I've already got my foundation and sort of like bronzer and contour. If you guys wondered what I used on my contour, I did use my ROXI X Revolution palette. This is the contour and highlighter palette. It's only £10. You guys can get it from like Superdrug, Beauty Bay as well, Ulta, and also revolutionbeauty.com if you guys haven't picked it up already. So I guess first things first, I really want to play with the highlighter palette because that's usually what I tend to do in my makeup routine. I usually do my face makeup first and then I'll progress onto eyeshadow. So let's open this up. I haven't even opened this up. I've only really seen it on social media and just internet in general. So let's have a little look. Ooh! How cute is that? This is giving me like Pepsi vibes. Like the color scheme is like blue and red. Also like the American flag, I guess. It's just such cute packaging. I absolutely love it. And then as you open it, ooh, it's got a little protective plastic, which is always good, so the shadows don't break in transit. Ooh, these are cute. Okay, so I'm seeing, actually, do you know what? I'm seeing quite a lot of shades that I don't know if I would personally use as highlighter. Yeah, it's quite interesting. They're very different. I mean, I quite like the pinky one and maybe the like icy one. I think these 2 shades would actually work for my skin tone quite well. The blue one, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of. I think it's just because I'm not very experimental with my highlighter shades. And then the other 3 look like they would be quite good for deeper skin tones, but maybe not so much for my sort of skin tone. But we'll see. This is just what it looks like in the pan to me. So first things first, I really want to play with the cold shoulder highlighter. I feel like this could work the best out of all of them for me. It's quite icy, but it kind of has like a gray undertone to it, which is a little bit weird. I don't know how it's gonna look on me, but let's give it a go. So I'm just taking this little brush from Zoeva. It's called the Luxe Powder Fusion brush. I'm just gonna literally swirl that in the shade. It's picking up quite a bit of it actually, which is really nice. And I guess I'll literally just apply it to the usual, to the usual place of my cheekbone. Do you know what? Okay, I like it, but it kind of looks Like this shade in the pan, it kind of has like a blue sheen to it. I did not expect that because it looks quite whitish slash gray in the actual pan. That is so interesting. I mean, it's not bad. Like, I still think it looks quite pretty. It's very blinding. I've got to say that. It's very, very pigmented, which is great. But it definitely has that blue shift to it, which I don't usually go for when it comes to highlighter. I guess I'm just boring like that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this sort of shade suits me as a highlighter? I don't really know. But if we're judging it just purely in terms of the actual quality and, you know, how smooth it applies to the skin and how vibrant it is, I've got to say it's like a 10 out of 10. It's very blinding. It's very finely milled too. And it just kind of like melts into the skin. It doesn't look powdery or chunky or anything. The formula looks really, really good actually. I'm really interested in this one right here. It's called Frozen Fruit. It's kind of like a pinky one. Maybe this one will be a little bit more wearable for me. We'll give it a go. It's very pink. It kind of looks like I'm picking up a blush on my actual brush, which is kind of scary, but let's give it a go. Got nothing to lose. Wow. Okay. Okay. Do you know what? I'm so confused. It looks nothing like it does in the pan. Like on the pan and even on the brush, it looked so pink. Like I literally thought it was gonna be like a blush. But now that I've actually applied it to my face, it kind of has like a pink shift to it, but it's super shimmery and kind of cool tone still, which I think is really nice. I actually love that. It's still really wearable. I didn't think it would be. I mean, compared to this one's a lot more blue. I feel like it's kind of like washing it out on camera. But when I look in the mirror, it's definitely blue. And this one is like a little hint of pink, kind of like matches my dress a little bit, but it's not too crazy, which is great. Okay, I really want to try more shades, so I'm just gonna wipe that one off with a little makeup wipe and then just apply some foundation back on top. Just because I feel like, you know, if there's 6 shadows, we might as well give most of them a go and see how different colors perform on my skin type. Okay, we're back in business. The highlighter's gone. Now let's try this shade right here. This is called Statuesque. This one is very, very dark. It's kind of like a gold slash copper sort of shade. It's quite scary. It's quite intimidating, I'm not gonna lie, but I thought, you know, I might as well give it a go, see how it performs on my skin tone, just because, you know, my skin is quite pale. I have got a bit of spray tan on at the moment, but it's still like nowhere near as deep as this shade seems to be. So I'm literally just gonna take that on the brush again and just apply it. Okay, I mean, it's definitely quite dark. It's definitely a bit dark. It kind of looks a little bit out of place on my cheekbone just because the rest of my skin is so pale. This would look beautiful on anyone who has a deeper skin tone, I feel like. It's just so pigmented. It's like a true gold highlighter. It would work maybe best for people who have like darker olive skin tone or just warm toned skin, because yeah, it is quite a lot. Like for me, it just it looks a little bit silly, but I love the pigmentation. It applies so well. I'm just gonna put it right out there. Jeffree is not playing. You know what? I do really also want to try the shade Freeze Tag. It is the pure blue one. I don't know if I'm gonna like this again, but we're just gonna give it a shot. I wonder if it will be more blue than the shade Cold Shoulder, because that one was quite blue already. So let's give this one a go as well. Ooh, that's nice. I mean, let's just kind of evaluate this side versus this side. Which one do you think works better for my skin tone? I definitely feel like this, because it's a lot lighter in color and a lot more cool toned. It just really complements my type of skin a lot better than that one. I think this is beautiful. Honestly, it is blue, which is not something I usually wear on my face, but it is so blinding. I feel like you could definitely apply it with a lighter hand as well, and then it would be, you know, a lot more wearable and a lot more natural looking. So the very last 2 shades are these ones right here. So it's the one called Gold Breaker and the one called Cocky. So I'm gonna try Gold Breaker first, as it's a little bit lighter, and I'm just going to apply that in the same area as all the rest. Ooh, yeah. Yes, that is literally me in a highlighter. That's gorgeous. Again, it doesn't look how it looks in the pan. I thought it was gonna be a lot darker, but it's proven to be very shimmery, and it's kind of got that sort of like gold champagne everyday kind of highlighter vibe to it. And lastly, we're gonna try the shade Cocky. Let's have a look how this one performs. So this is the shade Cocky. That is beautiful. Oh my God. Okay, so again, it's a tad bit too dark for me, I feel like. But it is so beautiful. It's so finely milled. Also, I've got a little bit of contour missing there, so please excuse that. I will fix that up in a bit. But the highlighters are just divine. I love the formula. They're just so easy to apply. So I'm now just using the shade Gold Breaker, sort of like all over. I'm popping it in my inner corners, on the tip of my nose, and also on my brow bone, just to highlight it. It is like my shade. That is so gorgeous. I think my final verdict of the highlighter palette is that it's definitely very beautiful. It's very pigmented. I love all the different shades, but personally, only really 1 or 2 of them would probably work for me, which is quite a shame. However, I do realize how difficult it is to make a versatile palette that is going to cover a lot of different skin tones. I personally had that struggle myself when I was creating my collaboration with Revolution. You definitely want to be all-inclusive when it comes to products like contour and highlighter palettes and that kind of thing. And there's always going to be that person that's a certain skin type or certain skin color, and they're going to say, oh, there's only 1 or 2 shades for me in this palette, which is technically what I'm doing right now. But I definitely have a lot more of a different point of view now that I've actually created a product myself. So I feel like people definitely should be a lot more understanding when there's only 1 or 2 shades that actually works for you in a highlighter palette. And it's not to say that you can't use any of the other shades, because you totally can. You can use them as eyeshadow, for example. So I am still gonna give this one a big thumbs up. I really like this palette, and I think it's been very well made and really well considered. Now we are gonna move on to this palette right here, which is the Mini Breaker. Again, I have not actually opened this or seen this in the flesh just yet, so I'm very excited. And then as you open it out the box, the actual palette is white, and then the Mini Breaker is in like a reflective pink writing. So this is what the palette looks like inside. Oh my God, that is beautiful. I mean, I kind of bought it and I didn't even look at the shades, to be honest, but they are so gorgeous. And there's a lot of like pinks, which I'm not mad about because I love that kind of palette range, and I feel like anyone can sort of create a pink look. It's quite a wearable color on the eyes. So out of this palette, I think the first shade I'm gonna reach for is the shade Bubblegum, which is like the lightest pink of the palette. Ooh, okay. This color is so pigmented. What the hell? Do you know what? I actually think this might be my first ever Jeffree Star palette. I don't think I've ever purchased a palette from him before. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've always heard great things about the Jeffree Star palettes, but for some reason I've never really felt like the urge to buy it because I already own so many different eyeshadow palettes. But this could be a game changer. I really like these. So I'm just sort of gonna do the same thing to the other side, really make sure that that pigment is blended out really nicely into the crease. I feel like working with color can be quite difficult, which is why I used to always sort of stay away from it. But ever since I've released my Color Burst palette in collaboration with Revolution, it's really kind of like changed up my game. I definitely love to experiment with colors now. I used to be really scared of it, but I've sort of come out my comfort zone, and I think it's just so much fun to play with different colors. That is so beautiful. Look at that pink. Ah, I love it. I think I'm now gonna go in with the shade of Foreplay, which is a slightly more like purpley kind of color. It's similar to Bubblegum, but a little bit darker. And I'm just gonna take that on a more concentrated fluffy brush and just kind of deepen up the outer corner with that. Still kind of placing it into the crease a little bit, but just sort of merging the two colors together. Oh my God, that shade is so pretty. It's a lot more like punchy and vibrant than Bubblegum, so I feel like it works perfectly in like the outer crease. I feel like now that it's summer, it's like a lot more acceptable to play with these sort of vibrant colors. I've had so many requests from you guys to do a tutorial with the Color Burst palette, and that is definitely coming very soon. I will be filming with it shortly. I just kind of need to figure out what look I want to do. Okay, I'm just kind of thinking what to do next. I really like the shade Orange Crush, so I might use that like in the center and maybe the inner corner of my eye. Okay, I've got it. I'm gonna take the shade Orange Crush because it is just way too beautiful not to use. And I'm taking that on a little flat brush like this. I find flat brushes like this so much easier to control a pigmented, colorful color like this. And you just really get the most pigmentation out of using colors like this with a flat brush. So I'm literally just applying that in the very inner part of my eye. That is actually amazing. I did not think I'd be this impressed with the Jeffree Star shadows. Do you know what? I'm kind of gonna do like a little bit of a cut crease with this shade, so I'm not actually gonna blend it out very much. I kind of want to have that distinct orange line, and they blend together like a dream. Like, that is so seamless. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna take the shade Bubblegum once again on a little pencil brush like this, and I'm literally just going to apply that into the inner part of my lower lash line. I kind of want to do like the same that I've done on my top lid, but flipped. So I want to start off with the pink on the inner corner and then work my way to the orange on the outer corner. I feel like that will look really cool. The one thing I feel like this palette is kind of missing is an inner corner highlight. I wish there was a shade that was light enough to sort of use as an inner corner highlight. I mean, you could totally use like this one, but I feel like it could be a little bit dark. But I guess this is kind of like an additional palette with like all of your pinks and stuff. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people just have an inner corner highlight in another palette that they could use. And I'm now going to take the orange shade, which is Orange Crush, and I'm just going to blend that on the outer part of my lower lash line and kind of merge it into the bubblegum shade. Okay, so this is my finished eye look. I love how fun it is. I love how colorful it is, and everything's blended really well. I've only got a tiny bit of fallout from where we were applying the lower lash line sort of shade. Since there isn't really a sort of like shimmer shadow that I want to use in this palette for this look, I think I'm going to go back in with the highlighter palette and use one of these. So again, on a little flat brush, I'm going to take the shade Frozen Fruit because I feel like it would complement the pink and the orange really well. And I'm just going to dab that in the very center of the lid, just as like a nice little spotlight. I love doing this with shimmer shades. I feel like it makes them look really wearable. Okay, it's kind of coming out a little bit patchy on this brush, which is a little strange because it wasn't coming out patchy on my highlighter, like cheek area, but with a bit of work, looks pretty good. I'm now just gonna repeat the same thing to the other side. And this is just, you know, showing you guys how you can use some of the other highlighters that you may not be able to use on your face. So this is the finished eyeshadow look. I'm actually obsessed. I'm now just gonna put some liner and lashes on and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I am back and it's now time for the finishing touches of this look, and that is the lipstick. So for this, I will be using the new Velour liquid lipstick that I've picked up from the new collection. This is in the shade Fully Nude, like I said. I have tried the liquid lipstick formula from Jeffree Star and I've always gotten along really well with it. I think my favorite one is definitely Birthday Suit. I think that's the shade name. This one is kind of like a pinky nude, so I feel like it will really go well with the eye makeup that I've created today. I've also already lined my lips, so we can just go straight in and test this bad boy. I'm so excited. Ooh. Oh my god, that is such a beautiful color. Okay, so this is the lipstick all applied. I actually love the color so blooming much. I feel like it goes so well with this look because it's kind of like an in-between of like a pink and a orange. It's kind of like the perfect peachy sort of color, which I absolutely am obsessed with. Like I said, I already love the formula of the velour lipsticks from Jeffree Star, so I really like this one. It applies very well to the lips. It's like really opaque, there's no patchiness, and even though it's a matte lipstick, it doesn't feel too drying, which is very rare to come by. So overall, I am super happy with the 3 products that I picked up from the Jawbreaker collection. I feel like it performed really well on my face. I'm obsessed with the makeup look I created. I think the eyeshadows are really bomb. They're very pigmented, very creamy, and they blend so easily together, which is the main thing. The highlighter palette, I don't know if I would reach for this as often as I thought because, you know, like I said, there are very particular shades in this palette. They're very colorful, and because I'm quite boring with my highlighter choices, I don't usually wear colored ones like this. But for someone who's like a really hardcore makeup lover and loves to experiment with different highlighter colors, this would definitely be the one for you. And lastly, the lipstick I'm really happy with. I'll definitely get a lot of use out of this. The color is beautiful and I feel like I could wear it every day. So overall, what are my thoughts about the collection? I feel like I tested enough products to sort of get an idea idea of, you know, how the products perform. Are they worth the money? I feel like they are worth the money just because you do get really cool packaging, you do get really nice quality of eyeshadows and products inside. Although you only get 9 shades, the pans are quite big, so I feel like you do get quite a lot of product inside them. Yeah, they're not really gonna be everyone's cup of tea, but I feel like when it comes to makeup, it's very subjective. If you don't really like these palettes, just don't buy them. Maybe just get something else that you know you will get more use out of rather than these. And to kind of come full circle, I'm gonna say this is Roxxsaurus approved, just as Jeffree would say. Let me know what you guys think of the whole collection. Would you buy any of the items? Do you think they're overpriced, or do you think they're, you know, fairly priced? If you guys want to see more makeup testing videos in the future as well, then let me know in the comments. But that is all from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Mwah.